loved Tom Lee. After Mickey and I were married, and of course, Tom being a friend of the families, we would go over to Tom's and visit with Tom and Sarah. And he would always have a painting. As we came into the house, they had an easel at the very front as you walked in the door, and there was always a new painting there when we'd come over. And we'd sit and have a drink with him, and then he'd talk about his new paintings that he was working on. Tom was such an influence for me, not so much as in the way I work, but in the attitude that he had about painting and the love he had for painting. My favorite painting is probably the one he did of my horse. Tom came out to the barn and he sat there with me and we took the horse out and he said, okay, I want to see her run. He watched her for about a half an hour and just watched her stand and talked to me about her history. When I got it for my birthday, I was really surprised. Attica and Chin is another favorite painting. It's just fascinating that he would take two horses from two different centuries and compare them. We loved it when we saw it at Tom's house, and he said it wasn't for sale. And then he displayed it at Kermasar one year, and he said it was courtesy of Susan and Mickey Schwartz at the bottom. So that's how he told us that we had the painting. So it was sort of fun, but Tom was sort of like that. He liked to surprise people. Las Mañanitas and Lonesome Road are more in the style that most people think about, the big landscapes that he's done and the murals. My father-in-law was Irving Schwartz. He encouraged Tom to do etchings. He was a very good friend. They would go to Juarez together and they would sit and draw and have a great time, but they would go out and draw, and he just gave them, some pointers on etchings because they both liked the fine lines and the drawing. And this was a time after Tom's first wife died. My husband wanted to get his dad's Irving Schwartz something really special for his birthday, and so he had asked Tom to do this for him. And he did Las Mañanitas because they spent a lot of time in Juarez and a lot of time together, and he thought this would be a sort of a nice birthday present. The Durango design is a painting that Tom did for us because Mickey had seen a painting that Tom did that the bank owned in El Paso, and he wanted something similar to it. So he asked Tom, and Tom said, well, okay, I don't usually do the same kind of paintings that I've done before for people, but we'll look at it and see. And so he did this painting for us and did fantastic perspectives. The perspective was amazing. We went out to his studio and there were strings everywhere, and he said, that's how I do the perspective. And he had pinpointed everything where the points came together, so he got the exact perspective of the horizon. Then when we got the painting, he said, there's something special in it. So you look at it for a while and then we'll talk about the painting later. And he came out to see the painting in the house, and we told him we thought it looked sort of like the Indian pottery. And he said, yeah, because I used Indian designs in the clouds and in the mountains because I knew you liked the Indian pottery. I think Tom did the study for the snake dancer when he worked for the anthropology lab. I believe he was doing some studies for them on Indian designs. And I think it's sort of architectural, like Durango design painting, because everything is done with angles and a lot of geometric shapes. He was very unusual as an artist. He was quiet, he was very soft-spoken. Every time you would see Tom, he'd say, okay, how are you and how's your painting doing? He just gave me the energy to keep going. He was always concerned, and I noticed he did it with other young artists in town, and even as he got older, he said, oh, this is really fun. Even though I can't see so much, now I can do all the abstract art I want to do.